Hello and welcome to the Peak Millennials podcast. I'm your host, Collins.
And I'm your host, Natalie.
Each week, we will be deep diving into different peak millennial topics, things we remember, things we want to forget, and read some juicy stories that'll give us all deja vu. This is the age before iPhones and before social media as we know it. This is where a good mixed CD, silver eyeshadow, and MTV raised us. So crack open a Jones soda, kick off your black Converse, and let's deep dive into the world turn of the millennium. I think I need to fix that.
Yeah, that's all right. We're figuring this out as we go. It's totally cool.
We're figuring it out, but hey, it is episode 3 of the Peak Millennials podcast. We're still in the realm of music because I feel like we could talk about music in the millennial age and what gives us comfort for years upon years upon years.
We could talk about this, I think, for a really long time. I've really been kind of stewing on it, and we just basically scratched the surface and gave such a very, very small insight, all the things that we really liked about music, or just our generation's point of view. And I mean, it's our point of view. It's not real.
It's our show.
It's our show. So I mean, it is our world, and we can do and say whatever we want within reason. But yeah, I'm excited to go back into a music space with you.
Well, we are very music people here on the podcast. So if this is your first time listening to the show, hi, hello. You stumbled upon the Peak Millennials podcast. It must mean that you like millennial stuff, or you just think that we're cute and you want to hear what we have to say. But if you didn't notice, we did take a week off.
We did. And
we let you all know on our Instagram. So if you do want to follow us over on Instagram, you see our little things. If you're watching on the video, you can see Peak Millennials Pod. That is our handle over on Instagram. You can follow us on all of our social medias as well. And I want to remind you, send your stories to peakmillennialspod@gmail.com. We might be doing a giveaway. I don't know. But we want to get your stories out there, your millennial memory. We can have your permission to read them on the air, whatever you want. But I did want to kind of address some things, why we kind of needed a week off. So I'll start because mine's not as long. But last week I did officiate my best friend's wedding.
Congratulations.
Congratulations to Sammy and Kevin. If you're listening, I love you so much. But I officiated their wedding. It was beautiful over in Graham, Washington.
The photos were gorgeous.
Absolutely. I can't wait to see more photos and videos and all the things. I'm also trying to not to get down on myself. I'm usually a very positive person. But seeing some people's Instagram stories, I was like, oh, I look so silly. And then I say these things to my husband, just glowing review from him. He just thinks that I'm so beautiful and gorgeous and stunning and all the things. But in your head,
I second his opinion tenfold. I literally looked at the photos that you posted and I was like, God damn, you look so beautiful. And you guys just have that, you and your husband have a beautiful, when you take a photo together, I can't even formulate the words, but when you take a photo together, you both are glowing.
It's because I can't. He makes
so happy.
He does anything to make me laugh, and that's why I married him.
I love
amongst
it.
other things, but it was very light.
Great.
Very. Thank you. I appreciate that. But your brain does weird things, so
yeah.
I came off of that and I either got food poisoning or I had the stomach flu because it did take me 4 or 5 days to regulate some of that stuff going on. Because it was kind of rough. I was willing to push through it, but I ended up sleeping 13 hours or something that day because it was
Oh my
just I
gosh.
needed rest.
Yeah.
Um, but also something happened in your neck of the woods, and I
Yeah.
wanted to kind of address that because like it's
Yeah.
kind of a sensitive thing. This is a
Yeah.
safe space on
Yeah.
but Natalie, tell us how your week has been or your weeks have been.
A
What's going
couple
on?
weeks. We over here had kind of a very sad and very sudden situation happen. My husband's uh the mother of my stepdaughter, my
Mhm.
oldest. I don't even like using the phrase like stepdaughter because I never considered her a step. She's my bonus.
Yeah.
Her mother was feeling really ill, and over the course of a month, went and saw a doctor, had a biopsy done. She thought she had a sinus infection, and it actually was cancer, and it was anaplastic thyroid cancer. And
Oh,
unfortunately, 10 days after her diagnosis, she passed away. It's a very fast and very rapid cancer, unfortunately. And over that period of time, we moved my stepdaughter. She was living in Paulsbo.
mhm.
Not like completely coincidental. They moved to Paulsbo from Alaska, and didn't she had no idea that like I grew up over there, and she was going to like our same high school,
That's so
and she
crazy.
went to the same junior high and went to high school. She actually had teachers for people that we had for teachers, like Weibel is still teaching there. um, and
That's
shout out to
crazy.
anybody that knows Coach Weibel, um, as
Coach
well as
Michael.
not to like name drop, but like Jordan Prince is
Mhm.
also a teacher there too, and
Oh my gosh.
he was very into sports when
He was a
he
he
was a
was
year
that
older. Yeah.
yeah, he was a year older.
Yeah, so he's a teacher there too, so she had him, so I was like, "Oh my gosh, all these names that I knew," but we,
Mhm.
have moved. She now lives with us full time, which I'm very thankful that we're able to, like, create a very safe space for her. We love her very much.
Mhm.
We also in that, we had 2 cats of our own, and we also brought in her cat, Kinley, so now we have 3. Um,
Oh my god,
and
I didn't even
I
realize there were pets
Yeah.
involved.
Yeah. So there's her they had 3 pets. They had Juliet, Kinley, and Mittens. And Juliet was their dog that they rescued from the Humane Society in November of
Mhm.
last year, I believe. And then Juliet's now going to go live with one of my daughter's aunts
Okay.
in up north. I think close to where you are.
Yeah.
And Mittens was adopted by another family, but we took Kinley because Kinley was like my daughter's, like that was her
That was her.
that was hers. So, but have now, like, she's now enrolled in the high school that's closest to us, and we've just kind of been managing that like as much as we can. It's a very unfortunate situation, and we're just kind of navigating it as one can with an unexpected, unfortunate situation. I
Yeah.
couldn't, like, as a person who has never experienced something like parental loss,
Yeah.
it's definitely a new place to navigate. Like, as I don't want to I'm like, I'm not an older parent, but like to a parent of a teenager, like I am we're managing as we, every day
Right.
is something else. So um
Well, thank you for sharing.
yeah. Yeah.
I I know that we had been talking about it kind of, touch and go. And I
Yeah.
appreciate that you wanted to share that with the listeners on the podcast.
Yeah.
Um, but we mostly wanted to share it just because we are humans and life
Mhm.
happens and
Yeah.
we want to share our lives as much as we can with the
Mm,
boundaries that
yeah.
make sense. But it makes it so human
Yeah.
and we want to be more than just talking heads over here.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, like, everybody, I think that especially for like our listeners, like, to know that we're also like real people. Like,
Hmm.
we do this for fun, and we do this because we love to share and talk, and we
Yeah.
love to talk to each other. So I mean, like, but there are times in our life where it's like, I almost like, when we talked about taking last week off, I was like, do I take it?
Yeah.
Do I not? Like, cuz I didn't want to, since we're still so new, I didn't want to like fall off, like
Hmm.
fall off the road, but I knew that it was really important, not only for like where my daughter was at, but also where like I was at, cuz it's been just such an interest. I don't want to be like, well, it's interesting, but it's been an adjustment, and it's been
Yeah.
kind of this like, we're all trying to like figure our stuff out. And I knew that like you had a really busy weekend too. So I mean, like, life happens,
Life
and
happens. Yeah.
we're here to provide a really safe space, and 99% of the time it'll be very happy and we'll be very like joyous. But if sometimes, yeah, my bang is really making me nuts. But
It's a
sometimes we'll
bangs
just
day. It's a weird bangs day. It's a weird bangs life.
sometimes. Yeah. So it'll be that, yeah. But that was my little bit of thing. So we're still here. We're just, it's a little different. Things will be a little
Yeah.
bit different, and everything will be okay.
Well, thank you for sharing. I know that a couple people had mentioned we already have a cute little community going, that they wanted to make sure that we were doing well. And we want to make sure you're doing well. Please make sure that you're hydrating. Transition of
Yes.
season, as we go into fall. It is fall, y'all. Um,
Fall.
I know for myself, I always get like a cold right as we go into fall, which is definitely felt these days.
Say fall
Um,
again.
fall.
I love it. I love it. I love it.
It's so funny because I've listened to like videos and stuff that because I used to make like a video diary style, which are all
Mhm.
they're all hidden. These are will never reach light of day. But there are like videos from like 2006, 2007, and I hear the way I'm talking, and it was before I moved to New York,
Mm, mm, mhm,
and
mhm.
my voice is up here, and I like it's like I'm talking like this, and it's a different like I'm very like
Yes.
higher register,
Yes.
and I know that comes with like aging and whatever, but I didn't have my New Jersey accent. I don't know how it happened. I think my body was abducted by aliens. Maybe I went to the Empire State Building and I was never the same. But I don't know. I have this accent, and I only lived there for like 10 years, 9.5 years. So
To be fair, my voice has always been the same.
yeah.
I've always sounded I've always sounded like I've smoked like 800 cigarettes.
It's probably why I thought that
And
you smoked cigarettes in high school. Oh my gosh.
no, I didn't smoke until it was like the thing to do. Like,
Yeah.
I guess that you can't be like, oh yeah, he doesn't smoke. Okay, so yeah, for our listeners, just as a heads up, I used to smoke it. It a lot
It's
of people
fine. We don't
have. It's
judge. You listen and we
fine.
don't judge.
Um,
It was a
I
time in our lives.
but the reason why it was practical, like, it's not practical, but it was practical. I worked
It was
I
practical. Wait, no.
I worked at our local Red Robin, the local
Oh
RR,
my gosh.
the dirty bird, as some people would say, and it was the only time that you got to take a break. Like, I hate to say it
Yeah.
because I don't want, like, someone to come after me and be like, "Well, there's a law that says we have to take break." Like, yeah, there is a law that says we have to take breaks, but
Do
guess
you
what?
think that chain restaurants give a fuck about
No, and the
I
only
worked at
time that you can
Applebee's, and that was
yeah,
the same thing of like that's when I started smoking
yeah,
cigarettes.
yeah. Yeah. No, yeah, so that was what if you wanted a break, you had to go sit out in the dirty old place that was right by the dumpsters,
Mhm.
and it was nasty, but you did it because
A
you
chair with
just
3 legs is out by the
yes.
dumpster. Yeah.
Yes.
Mhm.
Uh, but, like, yeah. So, I'm not encouraging anybody to smoke because you were in a restaurant, but I'm just saying at that time of my life, that's what you had. That's what you
Hey,
could
fair game.
do. But
We've
I don't
grown.
anymore. I don't smoke
We don't
anymore.
judge anyone who does,
And
obviously.
if you
It's
wanna smoke, that's for
just
you.
do it. It's a free
Sometimes I get
punch.
sometimes I get the itch and I'm like, "Maybe that would be fun because like, they
Mhm.
have cool, like, vapes now and, like, there's different stuff, like, the most exciting thing that I had as an option was, "Do you want menthol or non-menthol?"
I loved a
Like,
menthol. I loved a
ooh.
menthol. I loved
I
being
wasn't
outside
gonna
the
bring it up, but
Roxy.
that
Listen,
was what
I
it was.
loved standing outside the Roxy waiting for some shitty band to start playing, and I'm smoking a menthol cigarette while it's raining,
Yes.
and I can feel my fingers like freezing off. They
Yes.
had that Bath and Body Works spray
Yes.
afterwards.
Thinking that that was gonna
Yeah, that was enough. That
solve
was enough.
everything. Yeah.
Man, what a time. What a time. But we are talking about music, and I was actually thinking about like, do you remember like the music videos that were like controversial, right?
Yes.
That they had like a naked butt or like
Oh,
they
uh-huh.
had smoking or drugs in them.
Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
I was remembering because I liked country music, especially when we were in high school,
Mhm.
and Rascal Flatts had the "I Melt" music video come out in like 2004, and one of the members, the hottest of the three in Rascal Flatts, showed his derriere, showed his butt, and Country
What?
Music Television (CMT) took the video off air.
Oh. No, I don't ever remember that. I listened to Rascal Flatts for a while when I, like, went through my country music phase because it was just
Everyone
kind
has a
of like
country music phase.
it was I mean, I think I just really liked Rascal Flatts, like, "God bless the broken road." Yeah, that was it. That's yeah. But, um, I I remember that and I have it somewhere, like, in our notes too,
Mm-hmm.
but, uh, the when Moulin Rouge came out and Lady Marmalade came out and they, like, redid
Ooh.
it with all with, like, Christina and Maya, Lil'
Mm-hmm.
Kim and Pink, and that was, like, so racy because
Well,
they were, like, wearing, like, lingerie.
lingerie.
Mm. They were wearing
Mm-hmm.
lingerie in the music videos. But I think by that time, like, I was so I was starting I think by the time that I started to pay attention to music videos, I I don't know. I remember that, like, Mariah Carey, when she came out with, uh, what was it, Honey? And they did, like, the
Yeah.
making of the video or
Mhm.
and she was like I remember when she was, like, walking I don't was she walking out of the pool or out of the water or
Oh
something?
yeah, the
And she was
yeah.
wearing, like, that bikini, and I was like, "That bikini!"
A
I think it
sexual
was, like,
awakening.
white, and it had, like, rings on it.
Yes. Oh.
Yeah, and it was,
Hmm.
like, rings on the hips and, like, on the it was, like, I yeah.
Yeah,
I was like,
in the middle of
"Great."
the. Hmm. We got rings in this situation. So let me tell you about this. I melt music video. I put it
Oh,
in
yes.
over here. The music video included a shot of Joe Don Rooney, country ass name, uh, showing his bare buttocks. It was the first video to ever debut on CMT to feature full on nudity, not implied nudity. And it was banned from CMT and Great American Country Network because the band refused to provide an edited version of their music video.
What?
Isn't that crazy? And they were like, women have had implied nudity for how many years? And it's a bare buttocks, and y'all are. I know, right?
That
2003
seems
Florian.
so. Oh, I guess it was okay, but like if we're watching clips of that, there's a lady in the shower. But
Yeah.
because it's okay for the lady to be in the shower, but I can't see this guy's booty cheeks.
Yeah.
That's silly. I'm like, I a hot take for me is there's just like blatant double standards. And I mean, like,
Yeah.
I could go on a full tangent of like
Absolutely.
blatant double
Mhm.
standards about how it's like totally appropriate to show like hard cleavage or like almost barely like nipples on a lady. But if there's like something that's weird on a man, like we can't see it. I like seeing all bodies.
All bodies.
All
Every type of,
bodies.
yes.
Like
Amen.
I want to see if you're gonna show me okay, like maybe this is a little bit mature for if we have random listeners, whatever. Trigger warning for you. If you're gonna show me like a lady's booty cheeks, you better show me a man's booty cheeks. And if I have to see like a front of a lady, I sure as heck want to see a front of a man too. Like,
Yes.
what
Taking on
is the
business.
difference? Like, it's a body's a body, my friends. A body is a
Absolutely.
body. And I think that that's really interesting that like I'm not surprised coming from a country music point of view that they would be like, "Oh, you can't see a man's butt cheeks."
Mhm.
But we could talk about songs that came out during that same time where it was like what song was that? Where he basically sang about like suicide?
Oh, I was have this over here. Sean Kingston, Beautiful Girls, because he
Yeah.
says suicidal.
Yeah.
And I remember that they had to edit it to in denial, in
Oh,
denial.
uh-huh. Yeah. So I mean like you could talk about what was the one? Oh, Stan by Eminem. Did you ever
Oh,
see the music video for Stan
oh
with
my
Devin
God.
Sawa?
We
Oh.
could go on forever about how many times the FCC won't let me be, won't let me be me, so let me see whatever it is. And there's a mention about come, but it's fine. I read the lyrics to it recently, and I was like, oh, okay. But like, there was a whole period of time where like the FCC was, well, newsflash is they're still doing it, but they were censoring things that were on television because they said that this these references are too mature. Alcohol,
Mhm.
drugs, smoking, sex, nudity, violence, weapons,
Yeah.
homophobia, transphobia, racial slurs, like all the things the
Yeah.
FCC wants to keep off the air because they believe that we are young and impressionable, and that is true.
Yeah.
I saw Christina Aguilera with lace up pants,
Oh,
and
lace up
I was
pants.
impressioned to purchase them. There was
Yes.
never a time that I listened to rap music and heard racial slurs that are permissible for you know black people to use, and I never went, you know what I'm going to do, I'm going to use them.
Yeah. No.
But that is also a difference of different households, different people, growing up and where they are. But I feel like a lot of it really like came into play in the early 2000s and late 2000s, because it was just, let's regulate everything for these young people.
Mhm.
And I don't think that Jackass being on MTV helped any of that. And we could go have a whole episode about MTV, because they showed a lot of interesting things, parts being nipped, explosives being done. There's
Yeah.
always someone bleeding.
Yeah.
But like that stuff is funny to me. That stuff is so funny to me. It's
I,
cringy, but I
see,
still
and I was the opposite. Like I didn't vibe much to like Jackass at all.
yeah.
But I loved like Laguna Beach, a Jersey
Oh.
Shore.
Mm-hmm.
Like give me one of those. Like I know that it's fake. I know it's not real, but I love it. We're totally not on topic right now. We
I
are
know. Well, I was gonna say
we're getting there.
we'll get to the MTV version, and we will get to a specific episode just about teen drama shows or teen reality shows. Send us in your stories, peakmillennialpod@gmail.com. We want
Yes.
to hear your stories as well so that we can read them on air, because I have so many fun stories about watching the OC with my mom, watching
Yes.
Laguna Beach, using word for word verbatims from those shows on my friends, and they're like, why are you so dramatic? I'm not being dramatic. Wipes away tear,
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
insane time. So get in those stories.
Love it. We want to hear. We want to know. We want
Mhm.
to know if like if you, were you, I guess we could even post that on Instagram. Like, were you more a Jersey Shore
Mhm.
person or a Laguna Beach person? Did you
Listen,
watch the OC or were you watching like what was another good
Gossip
2000 show?
Girl.
CSI? Oh, I've never watched Gossip Girl. I
Do you remember how they did the ads for Gossip Girl? I just want to mention it was literally like
no.
them just kissing, like so many people kissing, and it was just like OMG Gossip Girl. It was like,
No, I never did. I've never watched Gossip Girl.
okay.
Um, I watched One Tree Hill
Mm-hmm.
and what was it? We watched One Tree Hill. We watched The OC. I know that The OC is like your comfort show.
That
Um,
is still my comfort show. Yes.
we watched a like CSI, Law and Order. Like we watched a lot of like those kinds of things. Cuz like I loved well, I love not I loved, good grief.
Mm-hmm.
Like we just watched a lot of shows that like my parents like to watch. So we just watched that but I watched Jersey Shore by myself.
I
I
loved
like
Jersey Shore.
slept that show. I loved it so much. It's so trashy and so fantastic. Anyways,
Amen.
we can
But
talk.
back to like music videos, a lot of Madonna music videos, like back, like
Oh,
this is before us, were
yes.
all banned either by
Mhm.
having connotation to sex or, you know, homoerotic sex, to even like having anti-Iraq war themes, which is just
Oh.
so silly. That was like American Life. Oh, baby, and that song. I can't sing. I'm not going to do it. But lots
I
of.
liked that version. That was a good one.
But
I
there's
liked that
so many
one.
things that so many Madonna songs that are on this list that I'm looking at, that it's
Oh.
just a bunch of songs that were what?
Do you remember? And I didn't. I've lost this from my brain until just now because I was going through like seeing like what other music videos
Mhm.
like were banned. Do you remember? What was it? Rock DJ from Robbie Williams? The one where
Yes.
like it's just his body with like muscle and no skin, and I
Hmm.
was like, ugh.
Scary.
Why
Scary.
would like,
Why is that?
conceptually like sitting at the desk like this is exactly the thing.
And
No.
it goes without saying, like, I mean, I mentioned Madonna's music video for American Life. I get it that like being unpatriotic is like one thing, but like there are imagery things that like can be a little bit scary for people, there are music videos of like watching actors play out death scenes, or rape scenes or, you know, other things of violence. And it's like, that is really frightening. However, it's not like they're. But I also say this because, like, do you remember the Enrique Iglesias, like, I can be your hero, babe? And they redubbed that music. The song
I
is
can
about
kiss
Anna
away your pain.
The song is about making love to Anna Kournikova.
Oh,
And it was dedicated to 9/11. They redubbed the music video and put imagery of 9/11.
no.
And for those who know, Anna Kournikova, famous tennis player, that
Tennis
had
player,
this
yeah, yeah.
horrid love affair. Enrique Iglesias was in a music video with him. And it was just like, it was just talking about how he, like, was in
Yeah.
love with this woman. Like,
Yeah.
so I don't raw. It was a very raw, emotional kind of like dedication to her, and about the way that she pleasured him. And I just always laugh now because that became like the 9/11 song, and
Ugh.
like they dubbed over like them. Go to YouTube and watch it. Pause this. Go watch it because it is so wild. Because
Wild. Because again,
wild behavior.
of all the things, of all the songs that exist in the world,
Right.
that was the one, like, you couldn't think of
Who made that
another.
decision?
Again, at the writing table, who signed off on that plan and was like, that is the plan. That's not the plan. Don't do that.
And
Please
I
don't do
think
that.
that also like stirred up people to like have all these patriotic songs, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
it was a lot of country artists that, you know, oh, the red, white, and blue. Like the Toby Keith, who, like, I
Oh,
can't
fuck
believe that
Toby
he
Keith.
didn't get
Sorry.
canceled because
So
it, like,
terrible.
he was very racist. But I just, there's so many things. What are your favorite like controversial music videos?
Okay, so like one of my I'm sorry. I said the F word, so I apologize that like if anybody heard that.
Oh,
Uh
I'm not
I
sorry.
I don't like Toby Keith. And I'm sorry if
I don't
somebody likes
either.
Toby Keith and they're listening to this. I can't get past very blatant racism. It very much bothers me.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, I absolutely so I love Lady Gaga. I've loved Lady Gaga from the moment that she stepped out. I find
Absolutely.
her to be just a goddess.
Mm-hmm.
Love Game, the specific line where she says, "I want to take a ride on your disco stick."
Mm-hmm.
Perfect. So
Absolutely.
like the lyricism, perfect. But clearly that was very controversial in the early 2000s, mid
Mm-hmm.
2000s. So like that one was the big one. And then in my like early teen questioning myself life, I absolutely loved, and I don't know if it's pronounced tattoo or if it's pronounced something else, but
All the things you said, run through my head, running through my head.
yes. And that music video was the most controversial music video I'd ever seen because it was two girls like kissing in the rain. And I was like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, there's girls
On repeat
kissing.
for me all the time.
Oh, and
Loved
I
that music
loved
video.
it. I also really loved, not really controversial because it's not, but I love Tegan and Sarah too. But that was kind of
Ooh,
like it
love them.
got but those are really the biggest ones that and then there was, as I started to kind of drift from loving and being like really into pop music and going more into like alt rock and like emo, when I started listening to like Incubus and when Megalomaniac came out,
Megalomania. Yeah. Ooh.
oh, that one was a rough music video. Pause
Mm-hmm.
and go over to YouTube and watch that, or you're already on YouTube if you're
Mm-hmm.
watching us. Um, go go watch that music video for Megalomaniac. It is very, very politically heavy,
Mhm.
um, but it also is very fitting during that time frame
Yeah.
politically, and I loved that one, but I think when I started to I don't know. It was such a weird time because music videos to me, like the music that I was listening to didn't have like readily available music videos.
Mhm.
Um, and so it was just kind of what was really mainstream. But the ones that really like throw out to me were like those ones, and then anything really by like Christina Aguilera and then like Britney, because they put both of their bodies like I felt very much like they were making a choice, but their like management companies were making a choice to like very actively display them as bodies
Right. Well,
and
like,
not as people.
do you remember? Was it Cosmopolitan had that picture of Britney Spears, and it's supposed to be like innocent, kind of virginal, where she has her stomach exposed. She's laying on the bed with the phone. And I remember wanting to purchase that because I,
Yeah,
I
yeah, yeah.
loved just purchasing like Cosmo magazine and all the things. And
Mhm.
my mom would not let me get that magazine.
Wasn't that her Billboard
Oh, was it
spreadsheet?
Billboard? I can't remember.
Yeah.
Um, bed.
Yeah, I think it was like her Billboard
Oh, it's
album, but I yeah.
Rolling
Oh,
Stone.
Rolling Stone, that was what it was, Rolling Stone.
Okay, but there
Because
was
it was so
another Rolling Stones one later that my mom let me get where she's like pressed up against a wall and it's just like
mhm,
the like S shape of her body.
mhm.
And she let me buy that, but like I guess I was too young for the Rolling Stones cover. But like it's things like that that it's like to me, yeah, like I thought Britney Spears was like really hot. Um but at the time I wasn't, like a
Yeah.
teenage boy kind of thing, but it was played off like that would be my intention. That is everybody's intention when they're trying to do things, and it's
Mhm.
not always so, Um, but I loved a controversial magazine cover for the female of pop because men could show nipple, but it's like the outline of a nipple, for instance.
Yeah.
Christina Aguilera during her dirty, stripped phase where she had like the lip piercing and the two-toned colored hair and
Yeah.
the ultra low rise everything. And she also was a little bit too tan.
Too tan. She was Jersey tan, if I
Correct.
can say. No, and
Jersey
I
tan.
remember Jersey tan. I remember that, like, my my dad had a photo. I don't even know where he procured this photo of
Hmm.
her, but I like most dads, I think, in the 90s and the early 2000s, he had, like, ladies' pictures in the garage, and he had a photo of Britney Spears, and it was in the same era as, like, her, like, "I'm a slave for you," like, with the snake, but there was no snake, it was just her ouch. It was just her, like, in that green
Oh
top,
yeah, I love that
like, and
top.
it was just so beautiful, but I was like, "Why does he have this photo of her in the garage?" Like, this seems like such a weird place for and, like but also, it looked
Yeah,
like it looked like, do you remember, like, book fairs when you can buy posters at the book fair? And it was,
yeah.
like, where they had, like, creased it hard down the middle?
Hmm.
That's what it reminded me, and I was like, "Did he even have to buy a magazine for this?" Because like, we didn't have, like unless he took it out of, like, a 17 magazine? I don't know. It was a weird I was like, I don't know." But
But
it
like,
just that made me laugh really hard. But we didn't really have like a lot of free range access
mhm.
to watch like MTV or stuff. I like hard stumble. It's because I'm like really trying to think of like what I watched like
No, it's
when
okay.
we could. Um but we didn't have like a lot of like free access to just kind of like watch MTV and stuff. Um and I just remember that we did watch a lot of, like, Christina Aguilera and Britney Spears because that's what was played the most, like, in, like, TRL, and they used to, like, replay a lot of the same stuff over and over again. Um, but I think it's because, like, my dad really liked to watch
The same dad
Britney
that was
Spears.
super uh
Ve very strict.
very strict. Yeah, that's the word that
Very
we would want to use.
strict.
But I remember there was a time where Christina Aguilera, because she leaned very heavily into the implied nudity or
Yeah,
the overtly sexual, where Britney was pinned against her being that more innocent side, even though we
yep.
all knew that she and Justin banged, like we all
Oh,
knew that they had
yeah.
sex. It was so like, even interviewers asking Britney, which is so inappropriate, hey, are you a virgin? And she goes, of course I'm waiting till marriage. And it's like, we all know. We all know. Uh, but I remember it must have been Maxim, because I remember Maxim was like
Oh, yes.
Playboy's sluttiest little sister kind of thing, right?
Mhm.
And I remember Christina Aguilera. I pulled it up because I was like, I remember she was on it. She was on the front cover of
Yeah.
Maxim during that
Yeah.
stripped era, where she's like cupping her breast and like spreading, but the words are like covering everything.
Yeah, that
But
was a
it's one.
huge
It was
controversial.
huge, and I remember those magazines had like the black covers on top, so like you couldn't
Mhm.
peek or whatever.
You to,
But
like, look through.
I Christina Aguilera, for us, for I mean, at least for me, I felt like she was one of like the more mainstream ones that I felt like
Mhm.
really went that like over sexualized route because it was marketable for her.
Yeah.
Um, but I know that she had like controversy with like Fred Durst, because like Fred Durst dissed her or something, or which is also like, that was also really cool for guys and bands to like diss Britney Spears, diss what was it? Eminem dissed Jessica Simpson, and they had that
Oh,
like squabble or whatever, which like, go Jessica Simpson.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
But it's that overtly like advertised appearance that when we were teenagers and even into adulthood was like peak media for some of these music things. And no longer were they just like show up for a TV appearance or show up for, the Super Bowl or something, and do no, now they
Yeah.
had to like appear in front of magazines. Now they had to have all this,
Mhm.
billboard, and exposing them, and paparazzi pictures. Like it was kind of a crazy time.
I do find it really interesting, like, we'll have to talk more about, like, I know the paparazzi was not it wasn't new because there was a
Correct.
ton of paparazzi in the 80s and the 90s, um, but I feel like in the early 2000s is when it kind of, like, boomed, like, it boomed
Yeah.
out. I think with the with the introduction of more, like, printed media, like 17 Magazine, Cosmo, like, what it was that, J14, like, the kids, like,
Yeah.
smut magazines, like,
Hmm.
um, with, like, the introduction of, like, all of those, um the paparazzi kind of, like, took off, and it did hit a lot of from my opinion, like, it hit a lot of millennial, like, early 2000 artists really
Hmm.
hard because it's like most of them went from, like, nothing to something, like, so fast, that they went from living like a fairly normal life to like
Right.
they were
To all of a
being
sudden,
stalked. Yeah.
yeah, multi-millionaires doing the things. And
I
we've
can
seen on a lot of
imagine.
these like documentary episodes.
Mhm.
There's one about the manager that was the same manager for
Oh, gross. Yeah, nasty.
on Backstreet Boys, that really, like, after
Yeah.
all of that, that the members of the band only got 100 grand.
Yeah. It was the same he was the same one for wasn't he the same for NSYNC too?
Yes, NSYNC, Backstreet Boys, O Town, like a couple other.
Ugh. O-Town just didn't make it as good as they should have.
But it's one of those things of like, there there are now like protection for people like
Mhm.
this, but it is the exploitation, the marketability. Did you watch the movie Josie and the Pussycats?
Yes.
Yeah. Where like everything is a commercial, which I thought was so funny then, and now I see it's like, oh, this happened. Like everything was a commercial. Christina Aguilera was Coke. Britney was Pepsi.
Mhm.
I love the infamous interview. Do you actually drink Pepsi? Yeah, I love
Me?
Pepsi. Me? I
Oh,
love Pepsi. No, the video, and they're like,
I was like,
do you
"Me?"
drink Diet Pepsi? And she goes, Pepsi is Pepsi. I don't know. I just drink it. It's like,
That's like,
I don't believe
have
that.
you seen, the Onion movie?
Mm-mm.
Okay, so the Onion movie came out, like, it came out in the 2000s,
Mm-hmm.
and it is very much it's very much well, in my opinion, it's sort of similar to, like, how Josie and the Pussycats was like, everything was a commercial.
Yeah.
Um, but there's also it's based on the Onion News, and the Onion News is fully satire, and there's a lot of like racial stereotypes. There's a lot of like jokes. And there's just I mean, there's a thing in there for a girl who I believe it's based the character is based off of like Britney Spears and
Oh.
Christina Aguilera, and I think her name is like Cherry something or other. Um and they have like a commercial with her, and it's like about soda, and it made me I was like, they did the same stuff to like both Christina and they almost like pitted them against each other
Yeah.
so severely that it was kind of like I don't want to be part of either of this.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to be part. I don't want
I don't
any of
want
this.
any of this.
I just want a Dr. Pepper.
Well,
Just
it's
give me
like,
Dr. Pepper.
I mean, yeah, it there was so much bubblegum pop, like boy bands, girl groups, all these things in like the early 2000s that really overcorrected, for at least for myself, to be like rejecting the pop brand and going right into like the alternative rock, the emo, the we talked about new metal and all the different things that started getting into ska, as we were graduating high school and not really
Yeah.
being into but that was also like changing of the times of like rejecting the bubblegum pop type of
Yeah.
thing. But because I was in a Christian household, everything was censored. The
Everything.
albums that didn't have that parental advisory, stickers on them were like the Reliant K's,
Yeah.
the
And
Switchfoot,
Reliant King. Yeah. Which
and
is so
Berlin.
which is so crazy to me because like I I had no clue that
Mhm.
they were singing songs about Jesus, or I had no clue, and I was like,
POD.
I
Oh,
love oh, yeah,
POD.
POD was a big one.
Hmm.
What was the one? There was, I mean, the one that was and is still always will be my top is
Hmm.
always gonna be Under Oath. I I've recently fallen into such a deep hole with Aaron Gillespie on some podcasts that he's been
Yeah,
doing.
he's been doing the
Um,
podcast circuit lately.
Yeah, and I mean, like, I just have a full love for Under Oath, and I know that you do too.
So what's so funny is I had a kind of this is what happens is I get like obsessed with something and then I
Yes.
hyper fixate on it. So
Yes.
Under Oath, when I their Only Chasing Safety album came out, the album
Yes.
picture is like a girl with like a oxygen
Uh,
mask on. I was like,
yes,
this
yes,
is
yes.
so cool. And then
Yes.
Define the Great Line came out, and I love anything that's like a package box set.
Yes.
And this was like in the day of age of like this didn't really happen, and it was like Tooth and Nail Records that this was their
Yes.
full first like full box set, and it
Yes.
was like the live recordings plus like the studio album plus like a video, and I got a t-shirt, like all these things. I was like, yes, give it to me, here's my $100
Yeah, I'll take it.
that I got from working my shift at the Target.
Yeah.
And Under Oath and Eric Gillespie, anytime that I could, they were in town. When I think I drove all the way to Northern California on their tour in 2017 in my
Mhm.
beat up Mitsubishi Galant. Like,
Mhm.
had no business driving the 10, 12 hours for a
No.
show.
No.
And then they, had a world tour and whatever. I've gone to the shows out of the I freshly out of the hospital, had had pneumonia, wore a
Oh my god.
mask. Well, I think I wore a bandana over my face, but I had pneumonia and I went to the show. I had a broken ankle and
Bless
I went to
you.
the Almost to see them. The Almost, which was Eric Gillespie's side band, which also
Yeah, the
Christian.
almost, yeah.
They just had a 20-year anniversary of that album come out, and it's like 3 albums in one. I turned it on
Mhm.
and I was like, that he doesn't have a great voice.
No,
Is not great.
and he is very like I appreciate the fact that he's so humble about it too. He's like,
Yeah.
I like that I've been in the same band for my entire career. He's like,
Mhm.
I don't want to start any new projects. Like,
Yeah.
he knows, he's like, I appreciate like where I went with the Almost, but he's like, I don't need to do that anymore. He's like, I like performing the music that we have.
Mhm.
And he did a brief stint drumming for Paramore, which I
Yeah.
thought was really cool. But he
And
was like,
he's an
it's just not my
incredible drummer.
vibe.
He really
Yeah.
is. I think that he's a
I
fantastic drummer. He sings while drumming, which is very
Yes.
uncommon.
Super
Um,
uncommon.
but because I work for Rain City Ambience, I have interviewed 2 people from Under Oath, 3 people from the Almost. But every time I requested an interview with him, it was always declined. And
Oh.
I met him in 2018. I met him in 2012, and I met him again in 2018. And it was like the different versions of him. You could see the things that life has brought him through, right?
Yeah.
And there was a point in time, I think, for like every person who was like in the Christian rock era,
Evangelical
evangelical,
and then
and then
deconstruct.
deconstructing it, like where it's put on this facade, pretend that this is who you are, but behind the scenes maybe you are cheating on your wife, maybe you are dabbling into substance, like you're just a regular person just like anybody else, but the only thing
Yeah.
that you also have is like your faith in God. But then when your faith in God gets shaken, then it's the deconstructing of everything, and then it's
Yeah.
the reinvigorization of everything. But one day I'll have an interview with him because I have so many questions to ask him. But I also loved
Ah.
Emery,
Oh, Emery, yeah.
Seattle, which 17 times I've seen them. And I think I've seen Under Oath like 12 times.
Oh
But
god.
those have been my bands. Like,
Yep.
and this was the music that I could actually listen to. And my mom was always like, well, at least they're Christian. At least they mention God.
in their own way, I guess.
Yeah,
See,
somehow.
I okay, let's see. Let's go through. I've been putting together a playlist that's like my like favorite stuff. Like my favorite things that always
Mhm.
kind of like bring me back to right
But a
when
lot
I
of
first started going into like my emo stuff because Under Oath was always a really big one for me.
yeah.
But I was softly introduced to like that side from like My Chemical Romance. I
Oh.
have such a love for MCR.
Mhm.
Um, but I will never, and I will say this, I will die literally on this hill. I do not like the Black Parade. And that is a hot button take for a lot of MCR people because they just got done doing like this huge tour of like
Yeah.
celebration of the Black Parade and like no hate if you love it, but give me uh like give me back there was an album that they did. Hold on, I have to pull it up. Um, their first album no, it wasn't their first album. I don't think it was their first album, but this is my favorite album that they did. And it was before they went more mainstream. And the album itself is I Brought You My Bullets, You Brought Me Your Love. And it is the most vampire emo thing. There's like a song that literally says like the one of the song titles is A Vampire Will Never Hurt You. Like that honey, this mirror isn't big enough for the both of us. Like there's a lot of it's like vampire emo. Like it's very for me,
Vampire emo.
yeah, it's but it's my I mean, there's that one is one of my favorites. And then like their album when they went more mainstream, um what is that? 3 Cheers for Sweet Revenge, like, that
Mhm.
album, where they kind of had, like, their really big break, that
Yeah.
was those 2 were, like those were it for me, and
Mhm.
anything I mean, I feel like Black Parade kind of hit at this really weird time where they became fairly mainstream, and it
Mhm.
was a very popular album for some people, but I was like, "This doesn't hit the same."
Yeah.
Um, and that's when I started to go more into, I wanna say, uh, more of that, like, harder emo, like Dance Gavin Dance, even though, like, they have their own controversies.
Oh.
Um, Seosin, have you ever heard Seosin?
Yeah, they went on tour
Uh,
with Under Oath in 20 no, maybe I'm trying to remember what hair I had in the picture because there's a
but I
picture
mean,
of
like,
them of me
there's
with the lead singer.
a group that I liked to, I Set My Friends on Fire. Then we're getting more into, like, screamo stuff.
Mhm.
Chiodos was one, and Hawthorne Heights. Hawthorne Heights was a big one. That one was my big one. I went through a pretty,
Cut
like
my wrists and black my eyes.
yes,
I
100%.
You know what I love about nostalgia is that I can hear that song and remember the first time I heard it.
Do you know what I think of immediately when I think of Hawthorne Heights is and I think about this too with Taking Back Sunday,
Mhm.
is the microphone throw. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Helicoptering a microphone on a wire. I love it.
I love
I'm
it.
a sucker for a good stage performance. There's also, like, A Day to Remember.
Hey,
I
they are
love
coming back now. Do you
yeah.
know that?
I yes, I do.
Well, all of this has like reminded me because like there is that rejection of the mainstream, right? That is
Mhm.
popular during this time to diss people and do all these things. Um, we've mentioned now our intro into punk and alternative. Punk Goes Pop. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
I
I
remember the
do.
album so vividly. It was like Yellow Card doing Everywhere by Michelle Branch. Uh,
Yes.
the Starting Line doing I'm Real, which is Jennifer
Oh,
Lopez.
I
Uh,
didn't mention my absolute love for the starting line, though.
I love the
I
Starting Line. Oh,
love the starting line so
mm-hmm,
much. We'll include here I am trying to type Spotify and I'm typing the
mm-hmm.
starting line. Um I we'll include some playlists. I think we should do that every episode. We'll just include
Yeah,
some
I'm
like
into that.
playlists. Um but la, 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 la. Punk Goes Pop was a big one. Punk Goes Pop. I absolutely loved that. Just I loved the uniqueness of it because we hadn't seen anything like it before.
Mm-hmm.
It was so new that hold on. Of
And
course I
like there was
can't.
also because this was all off of Fearless Records, by the way. If you
Yeah.
Fearless Records, a huge record label in California that boasted themselves on being independent, similar to Fueled by Ramen, similar to Solid State, similar to Tooth and Nail Record. Like these were all like not mainstream, where you have the Sonys, you had the Jive Records,
Mhm.
you had, oh god, I'm trying to think of all the record labels. It Interscope adjacent, I'm trying to think of
Mhm.
all those. But I mean, they had these CDs, which I purchased at my local, my local Hot
S-
Topic.
Sam Goody,
Sam Goody. What was the other one? Fye. You could buy
FYE.
them. But it's all these like hardcore, post-hardcore, alternative rock, pop punk bands doing whatever genre. So punk goes acoustic, punk goes pop, punk goes, crunk, which was my favorite because it had like the guy on the front and it has punk goes crunk.
Yeah.
And Say Anything was on there, Forever the Sickest Kids, The
Oh,
Main, Devil
we
Wears
didn't
Prada, All Time
we didn't talk about
Low.
Say Anything.
Uh,
Oh my god, that album had me in a chokehold.
Chokehold.
I love to Say Anything. I sometimes see on like TikTok people that are like, I don't know, blah blah blah, but I could sing this song word for word, and I was like, if I
Mm-hmm.
die to go to hell real soon, it'll hear to me as
He was
this
sitting in the
room.
room and she
Yeah,
touched herself.
yeah, we could go on
Yeah.
for that. I I think I forget how much I loved these albums, just because, like, it took a song that was so ingrained in your brain as, like, a pop song, and
Mm-hmm.
it completely changed it. There was my favorite one of my favorite ones was "Glad You Came," that was redone by We Came as the Romans, and it is so good because
Oh,
yeah,
I
it is
love
so
this.
it's so good. Um, there was Since You've Been Gone that was done by A Day to Remember, and it was like, "Since You've Been Gone," and it, like, totally changed the whole
It
vibe of the
Yeah, it
song.
changes the vibe, the meaning, the because it's lyrics that you know in
Mhm.
your heart, in your head. You could write them on
Yeah.
your arm because they've been so overplayed, but now you're hearing it in a different way. Um, and
It's
it
so good.
reinvigorates the song. I remember uh Baby One More Time, August Burns Red,
Yes, that
which
one was
like
yes.
everybody knows the classic, but have you heard their August Burns Red version? It's
No.
so good. It's so good.
It was so good, and I don't think, like, I don't think that when they created these collaborations, that they knew that they were going to slap. like as well
Yeah.
as they did. Like, let me just use some new slang. But I don't think that they realized that they were going to be as popular as they turned out to be. Like, they took songs
Mhm.
like Disturbia from Rihanna,
Mhm.
and The Cab was the one who did it, and they turned that song very differently and made it their own. Like, Silverstein took Apologize from
Oh
Justin
yeah.
Timberlake,
Mhm.
and that one is a good one. I don't Just FYI to our listeners, I am not a Justin Timberlake
We are
fan.
not. We don't promote them
Mm, mm, mm,
here.
mm, mm, mm. I'm not a fan. So I don't typically, like, try to listen to a lot of his tunes, but I do like that version. And there I did in fact send Collins a message the other day about, I was like, "I hate him."
Mhm.
Because I didn't really vibe to it. But I mean, there's so many good songs on here that you in your, like, Call Me Maybe, that was redone by a
Yeah.
song Manning, and I was just like, I I actually really like that Carly Rae Jepsen song, but to hear it, like, in a different way, I was like, "This is really cool." Um, so we'll drop the link for this playlist so that you can also enjoy these nostalgic tunes, um,
Mhm.
in our list. I do wanna mention, because we kinda swayed away on our, like, little bit of resurgence of evangelical emo music, which I found to be a very interesting, like, I'll kind of sway
Yeah.
back there
Side
for a minute,
quest. Yeah.
a little side quest. I I didn't know that there were as many, like, Christian rock groups, because I didn't do a lot of
Yeah.
concerts up into, like, I went to a couple of, like, rock emo shows and, like, Warped Tour, but I didn't do, like, a lot of local shows, because 1, I was broke, and 2, I just didn't really know where to go, and, like, socially anxious me, like, didn't wanna seek out the information, so I would just, like, listen to music in my car.
That's
But,
also a very similar experience. Yes.
um what we can drop the link to for this, what I'm trying to explain right now is that there's another, like, YouTube creator. Her channel is called Fundy Fridays, and she focuses on, like, fundamental, like, Christian stuff and a bunch of other things. Like, she's a fantastic creator. I
Yeah.
absolutely am obsessed. But she did a really great series focusing on, like, Christian rock music and, like, the impact that it had, like, on folks that are our age,
Mhm.
um, and covered so many groups. There's, like, Flyleaf
Oh my
and,
gosh.
um yeah, I mean, like, Flyleaf is the one that, like, jumps to my mind. But when you, like, look back now at the lyrics, you're like, "Yeah, you were really talking about Jesus here." Um but it was really interesting. So, yeah, I recommend, if you want to know more about, like, that boom of, like,
Mhm.
Christian music and an influence on, like, the '90s and the 2000s, check out her video. Um
Yeah, because I'm looking at this list of 2000s Christian rock bands, and Third Day was like my dad's favorite. Reliant K is on here, Newsboys,
oh, Newsboys, I
Switchfoot.
got some tea on that.
Oh, they had that like "What Would Jesus Do" or what song or whatever,
Yeah, 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 yeah.
and I remember like singing that into my brother's faces all the time when they would hit me or be abusive to me, and I'm like, you know,
WWJD.
WJD, Skillet,
Oh, no, no.
Emery.
The song that they had was
Oh,
"God's
Jesus
Not
freak.
Dead." That
Oh,
one. Yeah, God's Not Dead. Remember, because they came out with the movie
oh,
series?
yeah.
Yeah.
That's but yeah, Amberlin's on here, Lifehouse,
Oh,
Audio
Lifehouse.
Adrenaline,
Yeah.
POD, Jars of Clay.
Oh, yeah.
Um,
Yep, Jars of Clay. That was
Me
one.
Without You, Need to Breathe, Flyleaf,
Flyleaf was a big one.
The Afters,
Uh,
Sixpence None the Richer, Hawk Nelson, Cutlass, Under Oath, Big Daddy Weave.
I actually saw Cutlass at the Washington State Fair a couple years ago.
Oh my god. It really was like a time for
Yeah.
Christian rock, because I think that there was like a time, I guess, in the early 2000s where people really were part of Christian fundamentalism by default, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I
And
was.
everybody had a religion. I didn't really know anyone who was not going to a church, whether it was, Baptist or,
Mhm.
Catholic, because a lot of people went to the St. Olaf that was right
Oh,
across from my
yes.
high school.
Yes, yes,
Like,
yes.
and a lot of people went to CMC, which is where I went to because it
Mhm.
was down the road. You could walk there.
Mhm.
But we really have come to a time in our life where we have disassembled fundamentalism, really.
Yeah.
And people are understanding that the religion of our parents has strayed so far from, like, the gods of our religion.
My parents, so both of my parents were actually raised in, like, fairly religious homes, not like we're straying,
Mhm,
but that's fine. My parents grew up in fairly religious homes, like, my even to this day, like, my grandpa on my mom's side,
mhm.
he is still very as active as he can be, like, in the choir and in the church, and, like, my grandma is in the, like, quilting club and, like, all that stuff, very active, and I didn't my parents were not active, so, like, if I think that's why I didn't know that anything was really,
Mhm.
like, Christian rock based. I was like, "I just like this music."
I
I
just like
kind of
it. Yeah.
I kind of vibe to it. And so, like, to then find out, like, later on, I was like, "Oh, here I am, like, unintentionally listening to music that's, like, spreading this gospel, this word that I had no
Yeah.
clue," and I was like, and I am not a very religious person at all, like, I am more like a witch. A witch. I'm more I'm
An
more
Etsy witch. Yeah.
spiritual. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I guess I'm more, like, spiritual in the fact that, like, I know that there's something else out there, but, like, I don't wanna just lay it on one thing, but that's not neither here nor there for this conversation. Um, Bless my husband for the fact that he has all of my crystals. Um,
Anything spiritual is good for me. That you'll never have to hide that for me. And
no.
I think that that's really our demographic is finding yourself doing what
Finding yeah.
doing what makes sense. Uh, do you think we have time for one story?
Yes, I
Uh,
do. I think that we do. I
All
would love to
right.
hear it.
Well, let's jump in. So this one comes from Emma the Asshole, but it is in regard to music taste. So,
Yes.
am I the asshole for undermining my girlfriend's music taste? Already, I want to say yes, but
Yes.
let's go into it.
Yeah.
So, my girlfriend, 26 female, and me, 30 male, were driving on a long road trip to visit Boston from New Jersey for a little getaway. I've been with her for 4 months. In the car ride, she was telling me that the past 2 months, she's been really into underground music. I was like, oh boy, hopefully this is good in my head. For context, I've been into metal for years, ever since I was 12. But then I really got into, but then I, mm-mm. but then I really got into it in college when my roommate was a real metalhead and owned numerous albums like Iron Maiden, Behemoth, Lamb of God, Death, Slayer, and he opened my eyes to even more. I own a couple hundred CDs, majorly metal, some hip hop, and a few classical CDs my grandma gave me. She was playing stuff like A Day to Remember, Black Veil Brides, Paramore on car rides. Then she asked me, "What do you think?" Really undergrad stuff. Most girls wouldn't listen to this kind of music. I tell her, listen, I can appreciate you venturing out, but this isn't underground music, babe. Come on. She said, "What do you mean?" I say, "Watch this underground stuff." So I'm kind of metal elitist to this day, have been for years. I play her Crimson Apocalyptic Victory. I don't know what that is from their album on Spotify. And she's like, "What the heck is this? This is way too evil, way too much. Turn it off." After 3 minutes, she asked me to turn it off. I tell her this is underground stuff right here, real metal blasting. Of course, she hated it. She she asks to play something else. I play her another underground band. I play brutal Dutch death metal band, Serve Torture, but I don't know what this is. Uh,
No.
Vocals are extremely guttural. So I play another New Jersey band from the early 90s with a fusion of hardcore and death metal. She still doesn't like that. I play her Main Street stuff like Slayer Seasons and The Abyss. She didn't hate it, but she thought it was too dark and morbid. She then gets really upset and tells me, "I feel like you did this to one me up." I tell her no. When you come telling me you listen to underground music, I will test anybody, not just you. She tells me you don't have to be an asshole about it. I tell her to play whatever you want. I just want to inform you of what really underground music is. And she called me an elitist prick. I asked her to calm down. Let's get something to eat. So we stop and get food. I pay for it. And at the hotel, she's still upset. She said, "You tried to one up me in the car." I didn't try to one up her. I told her to stop being a baby and get over it. She's like, "You're an asshole," and dismisses how I feel. She then falls asleep and I watch TV. I asked my friends if I'm the asshole, and they said yes. Am I the asshole?
Yes, absolutely.
Yes. So
Absolutely.
I read this story and I immediately went to, this happened to me. Like, this is actually like a story that happened to me. My the first boyfriend that I had, that I was physical with, I was in love with. I used to tell him I loved, I loved metal music.
Yeah.
I didn't love metal music at the time. The things that I was listening were more mainstream. And he turned on like that guttural, like, and
Ugh,
he's like,
no.
you just like System of a Down. You just like new metal. Like, you don't really love real metal. Like, name one metal thing. Oh, you like Limp Bizkit? Name all five of the records. And it made me think of like relationships that we have tolerated for so long. And we're like, they'll change. They'll be nicer to me. But in reality, they are the same. This man is 30 years old. This man is 30 years old in this story. He's not changing.
No, and he's not that okay, so like this is my take. Yes, I think that he is in fact the asshole because like just because it's not what he deems to be underground, it technically is a very underground form of music. Like
It is
not
not
necessarily I don't
mainstream. Yeah.
yeah, it's not mainstream at all. You can't hear this on the radio. It's not as if they're I mean, you can
Right.
listen to Paramore. You used to. They don't really have alt radio anymore. But like if you're thinking about like A Day to Remember
Mm-hmm.
or Under Oath for that matter, or really any like alt emo group, The Used,
Mm-hmm.
um
Oh, I love the
really, I
used.
mean anything.
Yeah.
What?
I
The
love the
used.
used.
I do. But you can't get those on like mainstream radio. And if you can only get it if you're looking specifically for it. And just like for him to downplay and be like, "No, that's not underground." Like it's just kind of it's hurtful for one.
Mm-hmm.
Um and two, like, she was trying to be I could never be. Like, she was trying to show something that she wanted to
Yeah,
share,
common
and he
interest.
essentially, like, shut her down because it wasn't good enough for him, and that's kinda shitty. Like,
It
it's just
is.
that's not very, like, I could never have a partner in my life that was if I was like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so excited about this," and they were like, "That's not right." Like,
Yeah.
no, absolutely not. Like, I'm very blessed in the fact that, like, my husband is very or my spouse, my husband is very flexible and very open-minded to
Mhm.
music. So I get to be like passenger princess 90% of the time.
Yeah, same.
Um, but I mean, like, I as a person who has a very fluctuating music, like, I could listen to a lot of different things, but
Mhm.
if I was like, "Oh, let's listen to this underground music," and he's like, "No, listen to this underground music," and he turns on, what did you say? Dutch metal? Like,
Yeah,
Dutch death
with
metal? Like,
gurgling, brutal
that's
Dutch metal.
hard. If you've never heard that before, that's rough.
Yeah.
That's a
Uh,
rough thing to hear. It's not
and
a
to your
fun
own
thing to
partner,
hear.
that's crazy. But
Yeah, I
to
couldn't.
the top rated comment on here is, so you're working against yourself here. She's trying to get into one of your interests. She's dipping your toe into something you like, but the pool is cold and jarring, and she's trying to get you. But you're so much further deeper in. And she said, "Look, I'm doing it.
Mhm.
I'll come join you." And instead of being happy that she's into something that you enjoy, you completely dismissed her efforts in a
Yep.
tactless manner and
Rude.
yanked her fully into a cold pool. Her
That's
thinking
so
Paramore
terrible.
was underground and intense should have been a pretty big sign that you should have slowly eased her into harder shit. You are the asshole.
Yeah. That's and it depends. Like, if you're listening to Paramore's first album or Data
Yeah.
Remember's first album or really
Yeah.
anybody's first album, that is technically underground. Like, anything that's, like, just starting, I like sometimes I wish that I could go back and have that first that first time that you
Yeah.
heard it, um, feeling of like, "Oh, this is so good, and I
Yeah.
really like this." Um, and that yeah, I couldn't he is asshole. He
He is the
asshole. I
asshole.
hope like, I don't wish harm on other people, but I hope that she said,
I don't
"Dude,
wish harm,
out of
comma.
here." Yeah. Well, I don't mean, like, physical harm. I just hope that,
No,
like,
I
she was
know.
able to, like, cut rope and go, like,
Hmm.
this person is not for me, and maybe, like, he'll find someone out there in the world that fits his metal life that works so that
Yeah,
they could be elitist together. Music, in my opinion, is not about being elitist, it's just about exploration and finding what works for you.
agreed. Agreed. Well, if you like stories like this, feel free to send them over to Peak Millennials Pod. That is millennials with an S because we are millennials all together listening. Even if you're not a millennial, we are all peak millennials here.
Oh, yeah.
Natalie, where can we find you on the interwebs?
The easiest ones to find me on are Instagram and TikTok at Natalie Christina. What about you?
You can find me on all social media underscore queer auntie. I'm on TikTok for the meantime, Instagram, X. I'm over on Blue Sky, and I have a Substack. I restarted my podcast series called Coffee with Collins.
I
It is a
love it.
live stream podcast on Saturday mornings where we just chill and have a good time and we talk. So be sure to check that out next Saturday.
I love
Uh,
it. Actually, I have a little shout out that I wanted to do really quick. Uh
ooh,
It's kind of a side story, so it's really quick and really fast, but it's a shout out to my sister-in-law. She's so funny. She texted me and she goes, "I just realized that I've been spelling your name wrong this entire time." And I was like, "What?" I was very confused because my handle is my name, but it's not my name is not spelled like that. And so I had to explain to her, like, yeah, my name is Natalie, but it's not spelled like my handle. I just did it because I was trying to be creative. And she was like, oh my God, like a breath. breath. She's like, it's
Everybody's
been
so
13 years.
creative.
Yeah.
I
She's
love
like,
it.
I've been spelling your name wrong for 13 years. I was like, no. So, anyways, Danielle, you're perfect and I love you. So,
I love it so
anyways,
much.
I loved our little chat today, and I'm so excited for our future conversations. This brings
Me,
me so much joy in my weekend.
me too. Well, I love you so much. Love y'all. Thank you so much for
Love
joining us on the
y'all.
show, and be safe, and we'll see you next time.
We'll see you next
Bye.
week. Bye.